This is a Nissan 300ZX, which my friend and I bought 4 years ago for what seemed like an absolute bargain.
But it hasn't been on the road since then.
The wheels are cracked and don't hold any air.
The brakes are completely seized.
And the engine makes a horrible noise,
which could be very bad news.
So maybe it wasn't such a bargain after all. But today, we're going to attempt to fix all of these issues with the aim to get this JDM legend back on the road for the first time in years. But first, what exactly is this car? The 300ZX was Nissan's kind of big grand touring sports car thing. It came out in 1990 and it started with this. This is a 1990. It's the first one of the car. You've either got a 2+0, which is just a 2-seat one, or a 2+2, which is a longer wheelbase 300. If I open the door, you can see in here, down the back there are seats, meaning this is a 2+2 version. It's the less desirable, but all 2+2s came with these T-tops, which is quite cool. You could only get a slick top, a coupe version, in the 2+0 version. So, least desirable chassis. What about the engine? Engine-wise, you can either have a 3-litre V6 NA or a 3-litre V6 twin turbo. This one's just a non-turbo. They're pretty good when they work. So, least desirable chassis, least desirable engine. What about the gearbox? And inside, it is an automatic, meaning this is the least sought after 300ZX around. Non-turbo, 2+2, automatic. So this car was bought at our previous job, and Jack Joy, who had driven this car on the channel, was offered it for sale. No one actually wanted the car at first, and it was then going to be scrapped. Jack and I bought the car and parked it up for years thinking, oh, we'll get to it at some point, and we never did. But today is that day. This car is going to go back on the road, and the first thing we've got to do is get the wheels off. We just tried putting air in it. It literally won't take any because this wheel is cracked on the inside. We tried getting it welded for an MOT. The MOT man wasn't happy with it. So these wheels are dead.
Do you have the locking wheel nut? This has got tuner nuts or something like that, basically, where every single nut is a locking wheel nut. Surely it's in there.
It's got to be in here. Oh,
in the inside,
good stuff.
There. So after years of sitting, it was time to start the process of getting this old Nissan back on the road.
Yeah, I mean, an attempt was made.
What is it, 4 times?
It was an attempt to just see if it could be saved to get it through an MOT, but no. So this car may not look pretty, and in this episode, it won't look pretty at the end of it. We're just doing mechanical stuff today, but did buy some new wheels for it. So this one.
Surprised it didn't split in half.
With the old ruined wheels removed, it was time for our first fix, the brakes. That looks like it's been staged from a movie. It looks like a barn find brake disc. There's a little bit of a lip on them, so we're going to change that, and they actually are not the easiest to turn. So get it up in the air, do the brakes first, because that will be an MOT fail now after it's sat for so long.
We got to work on the brakes, where for me, things didn't get off to a great start.
Oh shit. Is that sitting in a field for 4 years tight?
I've given it a generous dousing of this, but I'll hit him again and then come back with a bigger tool.
Oh, that was movement.png.
There we go.
With progress now finally being made, I had something to address. So before this car came here, you might see, if you're a nerd like us and you go and check people's MOTs when you see their number plate, you'll see that this car previously failed on rust. And that's because it had a little 50p shaped hole in one of the sills. They've patched up this part here where the hole was, which I've got a photo of. And they also, all of this was starting to get real crispy. So that is now fixed. So this car is now structurally pretty solid.
Edwin was ready to remove the crusty old brake discs, but that would be more complicated than usual.
It's essentially a brake disc and caliper on the outside, but then inside for your handbrake mechanism is a drum, an old style drum, where when you pull a handbrake, 2 shoes go against the inside of the brake disc and lock it in place. Even with the handbrake off now, it's still a little bit engaged. What we can do, can you see there's a little gear in there? If I start flicking it, it will then start moving back in and allow us to pull the brake disc off a little bit easier without messing up the mechanism. Having adjusted that, I got the rotten old rotors off. So here are those shoes. When I pull the handbrake up, they will go out, and when I put it back down, they go back in. There looks like there's a decent amount of life on the inside shoes. So what I'll do is I'll clean it up and then put the new discs and pads back in.
With everything cleaned up, it was reassembly time. Unfortunately, it was at that moment we realised we'd actually made a mistake when we were ordering the new brakes for this car.
It's hitting on something.
The disc is scraping on the inside of the caliper, so we think that these are the wrong size.
Yes, so it turns out that there is a very rare, on these really early 300ZX, they had a different material caliper and a thinner brake disc, a 26mm brake disc. So even though these brake discs look really pretty much identical size-wise, they look all correct, there is a 4mm difference in the thickness of this one versus this one. I've had to go away and I've ordered some of the really rare early brake discs. There's only one place in the UK that stocks them, but for now we'll just have to leave the old ones on there, which is annoying, but hey, you're gonna get that on these rare jobs. Finishing the brakes would have to wait for now, but that meant we could move on to a much bigger issue, the engine. Now this engine ran fine. It's on, I can't even remember how many miles it's on. It's on an amount of miles which is okay. The engine seemed fine, and then all of a sudden Jack started it up one day to run it after a while, and it started making a tapping noise from the front end of the engine. If it's at the front end of the engine, you can kind of rely on the fact that it's probably to do with your timing gear. We're gonna do a timing belt on this car, which is, as you can see from in here, the amount of space that we have, it's not great, but I bought a load of timing parts off a company called Z Center UK. He sent me a printed out manual of doing the timing belt. How good is that? It's time to tear down the front end. We're gonna get the radiator out the way to give us a bit more space, because notoriously there's not much space in these engine bays. See if we can get it running.
We got to work tearing down the engine bay, starting by removing all the plastic covers and under trays to give us more access.
Then it was time to loosen the coolant pipes, ready to drain the coolant system.
And as usual, I was making a mess of it.
Oh, that's down the arm.
That's all down my arm.
Going down the arm right as we speak.
Me, I hate this. I hate it. I really hate it. I actually really hate it.
I think we just... Will, no! Oh, no!
Coolant drained, we could remove the pipes, which were a little bit worse for wear.
Oh, lovely. Always lovely to see that. Lovely to see that this time of year.
So he's ready to come?
Sorry? Next up, we removed the radiator and the fan shroud.
Lovely. Go. We were making great progress, but now we needed to remove the fan itself, where Edwin discovered something.
I'm spinning it, but there's no resistance. That is because they are completely finger tight. Good thing perhaps we're going through this.
While Edwin continued with the finger workout, I was doing some important maintenance.
So I looked at this earlier on, it just baffled me because we've got a fuel filter here, which is does what it says on the tin. But you can see the bracket that holds it's quite large. Don't know if the fuel filter's lost a bit of weight recently. Blueprint one, there, looks like it's going to fit. So not quite sure where that one came from.
Meanwhile, this I've just undone, so we should, in theory, there we go.
Nice.
There is our fan cupola. Now you can see the 3 aux belts on this car that you have all running off the crank hub. So I've got to take all of these off. I've bought new ones of these because they're looking a little worse for wear. While Will installed the new fuel filter, I continued stripping down the engine bay, revealing the first section of timing belt. There is our timing belt so far. It looks okay, you know, nothing obvious yet.
Now, a lot of you might be looking at this 300ZX and thinking, I want one of those. But the reality is, in the UK, they are rare, often overpriced, and if they've been here for a while, they can be very rusty.
Whereas in Japan, they have very strict guidelines on cars being on the road, which means that every few years, people get rid of their nice, clean, low mileage cars for a big discount, which means importing a car can actually get you a better car for less money. That's where this week's sponsor, carfromjapan.com, comes in.
They handle everything to ship your car to major UK ports. You pick the car, they handle the shipping and send you the paperwork for import, and you get proper Japanese quality.
And they provide the auction sheet and plenty of photos so you know exactly what you're buying.
The whole process would be a lot more simple than working on this car, and their services are quick and professional. You can check their Reddit or even their Trustpilot reviews and see that a lot of people are very happy with them.
And it's not just Fairladies or 300ZXs like this one, there are plenty of different cars. We've got K cars, you've got Alphards, you've got L Grands, and plenty more. And some of the cars on there are starting at less than $900.
So if you want to get your hands on a Fairlady Z like this, go to carsfromjapan.com and have a browse. There's all sorts of cool stuff on there. Use our QR code on screen here or click the link in the description. Thank you very much, carsfromjapan.com. What sort of shape is this? Who made this?
That looks like a deep sea fish someone discovered.
We've got a bit more space. Here is where our thermostat was.
Oh, what a fantastic aim.
Final cover removed, we could now see the whole timing belt assembly.
This looks pretty tight. This doesn't feel to me like a loose enough belt that would cause timing to skip. So my thought is that this tensioner or this idler itself might be what's making the noise. So we've got to continue stripping down, but there's no explanation yet as to what the noise is. I'm a little bit worried about that. But hopefully, once these parts were replaced, the noise would be gone. Otherwise, we might be facing some major engine issues.
So we continued stripping down, removing all 3 of the aux belts.
Belts are off. We can now take the bottom crank pulley off. You've probably seen us do this quite a few times. They slide on. You take the big center bolt out, which will do all of our top dead center stuff first. Yo, shout out Top Dead Center. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. We want to hit 500,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's only going to happen if you guys decide you like us enough to sub, so please do. So we've got to set the engine to TDC, and then we're going to have to get this off, which I have a feeling won't be that easy.
I have had an incident. There we go. That was almost quite painful. That was almost my nipple sacrificed to the gods.
With the engine almost at TDC, we needed to make some fine adjustments.
So on the crank pulley here, we've come around and you can see there's a little notch here. We're still a few degrees out. So to get to TDC, we just need to keep going a bit further. Bang on the money. Lovely. I then spent ages trying to remove the crank pulley until eventually...
Then Edwin removed the water pump, but that revealed just how bad of a job we had done at draining the coolant earlier in the video.
Okay.
Now, that wasn't the intention, but it just kind of happened. I thought I had it all under control. Pro tip, I didn't. Okay, so basically everything now is stripped at the front of the engine that is stopping us getting to the timing belt. But there is something quite cool. This is the tensioner that puts tension on the timing belt and holds it tight. So we need to push it back, and there is actually quite a cool thing we can do. You see there's that little hole? So what we need is we need an M6 bolt. That looks like that might do. You will see the tension on this belt start to come off, because that thing that we've just put on there is pushing the tensioner back. Oh. That's not great, but luckily for us, that is part of the full tensioner assembly, which I had bought. After that horrifying moment, I decided to remove the tensioner entirely, as luckily I had bought a full replacement.
And then, with the belt now slack, it could be removed.
There is our belt. I then attempted to work out what the source of the rattle was. Doesn't sound, it's not perfect, but it's not bad enough to be causing that tapping noise. We'll look at the lower idler. Now again, probably not making that noise, but definitely worse. So you can hear the actual bearing inside when I spin that. Not great. This one, that one's okay. It's a little bit worrying. There's no immediate answer as to what that noise is, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Would imply that it might be something further in or something part of the engine. What we'll do is we'll clean this all up so it's still nice, put the timing gear back together as per the manual, because I think someone has been in here before, maybe they've done something wrong, start it up and see if that noise is gone or if it's still there. And if it's still there, something in the engine, which means we didn't get that good of a deal after all. Right, it is the next day, and unfortunately we are missing some parts for the engine, which means we can't go any further. But you will notice a hole right there. In the last shots, you would have seen those old cracked 18-inch wheels. They did look good. Will, thoughts on them? I thought they looked okay.
I liked them.
But that welded wheel couldn't run, and you can't buy those wheels anymore. I've sold those to make back some money for the new wheels I bought, and I'm very happy with them. They are cool. These are original BBS RG wheels. You got them on like higher end package cars as dealer options in Japan a lot throughout the 90s. Saw these come up on eBay. They were £500 with some tyres. Thought the tyres were okay. The tyres were not okay. So we've got some new tyres on the way, but I made a rookie error. You see, these wheels are 5x114.3. That is the stud pattern of the wheel that goes on. So I thought, I bought them and I went, that's perfect. They were on a Toyota. I did forget that the center bore of a Toyota and Nissan are different. So what I actually had to do was send these wheels away and get the inside machined out of just a few mil, but now they do fit on there perfectly. So I'm very excited about these. It will now look nice and OEM. It's 17, not an 18, so we get a little bit more tyre chunk on it. So in the meantime, since we can't do anything on the engine, I think it's time to remedy some things that make this car look very tatty, starting with the tints. Already. Oh. No!
We got to work removing the horrible tints. Now this process is quite tedious, but it can be quite satisfying. We used a heat gun to soften up the adhesive, which should make it easier to remove bigger pieces. Sometimes it did, and sometimes it didn't, but before long, we were left with nothing but clear windows and a little bit of glue residue.
I think that's it. I think that's all the tint.
Right. Get a bit of goo gone on there, a little bit of glue, sticky stuff remover, and then that is a clean interior. Yeah, look at that up behind you. That's just, even the mist, it's still...
Yeah, it's very sticky, this rear window. Better than purple, I say.
Old tints in the bin where they belong, we moved on to improving the new wheels by giving them a proper clean.
Before we mount tyres to these, I thought it's probably best to give them a clean inside and out. There's something very, very satisfying about cleaning the inside of a wheel properly. So we're going to get those cleaned up. Massive shout out to Jana Gloss for sending us out some stuff. We had Jack on the podcast and now trying out some wheel cleaner.
With the cleaner applied, we left it to work its magic and then rinsed the wheels off, which went well for Will.
Oh, f*** me, that spaffed all over my face.
I'm happy with them. We'll clean them up quickly, dry them off, put some tyres on them. Really?
Oh, f*** it.
Never gets old.
Oh, f***. That's the loudest one yet. I shit my pants.
That's a flat sidewall, which, I mean, you can have a look there. Flat sidewalls.
Love that.
It's as the Lord intended. Right, quick test of the wheel. Now, unfortunately, the front, the chonk was perfect, but we could only get 245s in the very short time frame. Shout out to Tyre Streets. Thank you very much for sending these over. They only had 245s in stock. So, perfect world. We get a little bit more chunky on the rear and have a nice proper rake, but let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that suits that. That looks good on there.
Over the moon with the rears, we got the fronts installed.
That's coming like 90s Japan.
Better.
It's a new day. We've had to wait for a load of parts to come in. You will now see there is a disc on this car. Here is the one that we had previously ordered. It turned out to be wrong. The original one, it was, if I put them together, there is a difference in height there. Ordered some new ones, and I believe this one, there you go. Correct, original one. I've installed one, and there's a byproduct. So I did some testing. You could just hear it touching it ever so gently. So we'll get a little 3mm spacer. That will give us enough spacing off of that caliper for this wheel to clear. But that is just a small touch.
New wheels and tyres on, we could move on to finally finishing up the timing belt job, as the final parts had arrived.
New versus old? Yeah. You know what? I think so. I'm gonna get the water pump in, get the idlers on, set up the tensioner, we'll put the timing belt on, and then without filling up, we're gonna start it and see if the noise has gone away. I'm praying, hoping and praying.
While Edwin is doing that, I'm going to remove all the spark plugs because we've got new ones to go in. These are nice and easy to access. They're not so easy to access at the back, but it's just nuts and bolts. So what's the worst it can be?
So while Will replaced the spark plugs, I installed the new pulleys and tensioner ready for the timing belt. Yeah. Just taking the timing belt out of its package, you can see here, nothing special, just a Nissan genuine part. But inside, behind the timing belt, a sticker in both English and in Japanese for noting the date and the odometer reading at which point you replace the timing belt. This is not groundbreaking. Lots of places, lots of manufacturers do this, but the attention to detail. That's just a lovely little, actually kind of nice thing that I wouldn't mind having in my engine bay, stuck on the side to replace the old one. Nice, Nissan.
Videographer Ben then discovered the old version of that sticker.
So I've just noticed it does have a sticker on it.
And when is it?
2000.
Huh? The 29th of the 3rd, 2000. After that slightly worrying discovery, I got on with the task at hand and installed the new timing belt. It is time to try and spin the engine over. These engines are interference, meaning if you get the timing wrong, you will hit a valve into a piston and you'll not like life. Now, luckily, we're doing it by hand, so if there's any issue, it will just go and stop. You won't be able to turn it over anymore. We've put it all on now, it's all in time, it's correct. We have to spin the engine over once. At that point, we have to leave it for a few seconds and then check this gap in between here. In here needs to be 4 millimeters of gap. If it's not, we need to undo the tensioner, make it a bit more snug, go again, and then keep going until we get that 4 mil of separation. A few rotations of the engine later, I checked the gap. That's actually pretty much perfect. We may have got that bang on the first time. What I'm gonna do, just to check, I'm gonna spin it around a few more times just to make sure that the tension's okay. And after a few more spins, I went for another check. That measurement, perfect. Time to start it up, see what happens.
Before the startup though, we needed to do a quick oil change.
Oh, piss.
This hadn't been done in almost half a decade, so it was well overdue. And after filling it with fresh motor oil, we were about ready to attempt the first start. A quick explanation, I said last night, the tensioner's all set, it's all good. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was probably another 3 hours of messing with this tensioner here to over and over check if that spacing is right. So we've now got it to about perfect, 4 mil of spacing. It now works, it's fine. And that's a good thing because I'm not doing it again. So there's no water pump, there's lots of stuff disengaged, so it's probably gonna piss out a lot of stuff once this starts up, but it will at least tell us whether or not the sound is from in the front of the engine, what we've replaced, or if it's deeper inside. And if it's deeper inside, that's bad news.
Initiate startup sequence. Ready?
Yes, sir. Okay, stop. It's had a little bit of a mishap. But even though it was stumbling start, which is most likely because of all of the stuff that is unplugged, it didn't, to me, sound, Will, you didn't hear it, did you?
I couldn't hear anything bad.
So I'm pretty happy to put the rest of the front end together and put it all back together in hopes that when it starts properly this time, it doesn't make a rattling noise.
It seemed for now that the engine would be okay, but we weren't 100% sure just yet, and the car still had to go for an inspection before we could put it back on the road.
So I spent the next few hours putting everything back together, hoping that the car would run like new again. The car is now fully back together. Stick some coolant in it, start up, and we're gonna see what happens. I am praying that this doesn't go wrong because I've spent so many hours working on the front end of this car, I hate it. People said that these cars are a nightmare to work on. I don't like them after this, so I'm hoping I don't have to do it again.
Coolant in, it was the moment of truth.
I think that's okay.
Oh, it sounds pretty good.
Doesn't sound bad. Yes! Well, there it is, right. Clean some stuff up, we'll get it out, we'll give it a clean, and then we've got only a few last bits before this car can go back on the road again. Now I know it's automatic.
It sounds quite cool.
I know it's automatic, but it does sound quite cool.
Excited to finally have a working 300ZX, we checked to see if all of our lights were working correctly.
I looked at Will, looked down at the light, looked back up at Will, and just whacked the light with my hand, and it came back on. Hey, that's a TDC fix if you ask me.
And then the final thing to do before the inspection was to give this old Nissan a proper clean.
It's by no means our finest work, just a quick £5 scratch and shine from TDC on this one, but all of the moss is gone, all of the dirt, the grime. It looks like a car now.
It's so much better.
There's gonna be lots of comments. The wheels are wrong. I know there's 25 mil spaces on the way, and the tyres are wrong at the back. I know I'll get that fixed. But for now, it's this car's date with destiny. We're gonna take this to the MOT first thing tomorrow. It better pass, because then we're back on the road with the 300ZX. So, see what happens.
4 years.
So after all of this work, would this tired old 300ZX become road legal once more?
So the car went for an MOT last night and it passed. I'm proud to say that it passed. It drove like 50 or 60 miles to the MOT centre, 50, 60 miles back, no issues. I thought my timing belt was going to give away at any moment, but it didn't. So we had to get Jack Joy in from All the Gear, who is the person who co-owns this car with me. We bought this together. We paid £500 each for this car.
We thought that was a bargain until now.
Until now. The car was going to go to the scrap otherwise. But now, look, it's not perfect. It needs a polish. No tints. The correct wheels. We are still lacking on the rear tyre spacing, but I put the spacers on. It looks 1,000 times better with these spacers. I have the final figure. There are some things, shout out to Tyre Streets, they sent us tyres for free. That will cost a normal punter money. A couple little bits and bobs from Febby. We are in £3,977, which I think in reality is probably what this car's worth. So there's not probably going to be any profit on this car, but it runs and drives and it's saved from being in the scrap heap. And for me, that is good enough. So there are still things that need finishing on this car. I mean, you can see what's left of the window tint glue behind Will's head. And also you might hear just a tiny bit of rubbing on that front wheel. So I need to trim some stuff, but we ran out of time. This video has to go out tomorrow and Ben has to edit it. But I'm genuinely so happy that this car's driving again. Now, it is an auto, but when I hit the accelerator hard, if we look down in the bottom right, Will, can you see? It just says the word power.
Oh, nice. Telling you you're on power is like one of the many designs of this car which we've lost, which should have stuck around.
Yeah.
Like the climate controls and stuff.
Oh, in Japanese car design, a 300ZX controls are some of the coolest.
The two dials either side, that's straight out of Star Wars.
Yeah, but the thing, this car was going to go to scrap.
Yeah.
They were just going to crush it because no one was interested in it, no one wanted it.
No.
And they paid good money for this car. I think this car was £5,000.
It's crazy how it worked as well, because that was from like a very large company back in the day. So to them, it's the time of sorting it is worth.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then we come in.
Well, there we have it. 300ZX back on the road, saved from the scrapyard after 4 years of sitting. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Click here if you want to watch another video where we saved another car. Click here if you want to subscribe. See you next week.